What's up, guys? I am Pastor Ryan, and I am planting a church called Bear Witness Church in 30A in June at the chapel of 30A. But before I plant, I wanted to share with you guys my story and my testimony of when I first met Jesus Christ. So my story is the story of the prodigal son. Um, I didn't come from a Christian family. I wasn't raised Christian. I wasn't brought up in the church. My family dynamic, my mom left the family picture whenever I was 7 years old. And my dad took on the impossible mission of raising my brother, who's 4 years older than I am, and I by himself. Um, Now, our household was a boys' household. We were wild, but my dad did take us to a Catholic church on Sundays. We didn't go to church. We just went to Sunday school. My dad would go, would pick us back up. But my dad was doing the best that he could to try to raise these two boys that were now in his control by himself. So I was raised Catholic technically, but I never went to church. Just went to Sunday school. And the whole time that I was in the Sunday school, I wasn't listening. I was partying. I ended up becoming a teacher of the Sunday school, and I had a co-worker, a co-pilot, co-teacher with me. Our roles was I was the fun guy that would play with the kids, and she was the teacher, mainly because I didn't know anything, right? But I can remember vividly one of those Sundays partying all night. I ended up getting in trouble. It was one of the first, I think, drinking tickets that I'd ever gotten. I was up all night. I don't even think I went to sleep. Somehow I made it to Sunday school in the morning, and I'll never forget. I had one of the little girls come up to me. She grabbed my hand. She said, "What's that? What's that on your hand?" And I looked down, and I had .259 written on my hand, and it was my blood alcohol content. And I'll never forget that moment of guilt and shame of not even knowing what happened the night before and having just the memories flood back to me from this interaction with this little girl. But it didn't stop there. I left the Catholic faith whenever I was young. Before I went through confirmation, I looked around me at the people going through it, and I took an account of my own life, and I realized I don't believe in any of this. I never have. I'm living a lifestyle that doesn't match anything of what I'm professing to believe. And the day before confirmation, I walked away from not only the Catholic faith, but I walked away from God entirely. And I was a self-proclaimed atheist for the next 10 years of my life. During that 10-year reign, I was the worst of the worst. I was the biggest partier. I would take any drug that was available. I became a drug addict. People would ask me, "What was your drug of choice?" I said, "Whichever one was available." It didn't matter to me. I was pursuing that lifestyle. I believed you had a short amount of time to live on earth, and once you lived and you died, it was over. So that kind of lifestyle, you kind of tooth and claw your way through anyone that gets in your way because you have such a short amount of time to live. And because of that lifestyle, I ruined every relationship that I ever had. The only really heartbeat of my life was kill, steal, and destroy. That's all I did. And that led me to college. It only got worse, by the way, when I went off on my own and I didn't have any accountability and any supervision whatsoever. Those desires, those temptations, my sinful lifestyle, it only multiplied. And I continued with that lifestyle until my senior year of college, where me and a group of friends were launching a dating app very similar to Tinder, also very similar to Facebook. And surprisingly enough, we had really starting to get a lot of traction on our app. So I was believing that we were about to break through in our lifestyle to really becoming successful young entrepreneurs. So I got with my buddy and we decided we were going to do one last party before we called it quits. And we decided to go to a music festival. At this music festival, We were doing all kinds of drugs, partying. I mean, this was our last ditch effort. So we were going full force as much as we could in the party scene, on all kinds of drugs. And my buddy had an experience. He said it was like the spiritual reality of his life was open before him. And he said he heard a voice, and the voice said, "If you don't get out now, you never will." And he said he could see the spiritual reality, and he said it was like hell. So he got back home. He got saved. He gave up that lifestyle. He left the business and left me wondering what to do next, because here I am as an atheist. I don't believe in God. He's had this moment. I can see he's a changed man overnight, instantaneously. He's left my business, and now I don't know what to do. So I go home that night. I lived by myself in my home alone. I'll never forget it. I had one light on in the house. I hadn't believed in God or even considered belief in God in 10 years. I hadn't prayed in 10 years. And the only prayers that I prayed before were the memorized prayers that I was forced to learn, which I'm thankful for now, but at the time was not thankful for. So I went home. I had one light on. I'll never forget. I got on my knees. I was done. I had nowhere to turn. I had ruined every relationship. I had no direction. I didn't know where to go with my life. And I opened that door, didn't make it past my living room. I got on my knees on my couch, and I prayed for the first time in 10 years. And the words that came out of my mouth were simple. I said, "God, if you're real, I'm done. You take over." And in that moment, it was like a lightning bolt had struck my body. I felt the presence of God for the first time in power and love. And his presence broke me free. The second I realized God was real and he was for me, not against me, but with me, it shook my life to its core. And I didn't know it, but I started a lifelong journey of pursuit of the Lord. And that's what's landed me here now to become lead pastor of a new church called Bear Witness Church. We're so excited. That's just a small snippet of my testimony. There's been so much that has happened. I'm starting a series called Overcomers, where the verse and the meaning behind the series is that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. And I want to share with you guys, all of you, some of the testimonies that I've had in my life, where you will not believe the miracles that God has walked me through since that one day that I met him in my living room, and he changed my life forever. So be encouraged, friends. I have so much more to share with you, but I wanted you to know this is who I am. This is what I came from. I'll share with you the other stories when they come up, but I'm so blessed and encouraged. If you've made it to the end of this video, please follow us. We have a journey that we're on. It's going to be amazing. I really believe the Lord is not only going to change the lives of the people that are involved, but I believe he's going to change my life. And if you guys are willing and able to follow along this journey, you'll be able to see that change, not just in yourself, but in me as well. We are all in this journey together. So God bless you. May the peace of God rest over you and your family and anyone that listens to this message. I'm looking forward to getting connected with you. Go to our website. It's linked below, bearwitnesschurch.com. Follow us on social media and stay encouraged to see what God is going to do next.